take a look. So you got the email there. Now on that sheet, I didn't have enough time to break out all of the groups. So for each of your departments, if you can go in and we'll take out, so it looks like, right? So if you, for your department, can grab the department and compliance science group columns for both, for your departments, and put those into the field. Tab in your worksheet there. I think it's just called positions.
And just in the position name.
But don't tell Dane. But it's called okay, yeah, so under, it's called positions, we can call it groups now, actually, because that's the name I used in the other one. And paste it to, so if you move that actually, to paste it over to the right. Just right at the top here, and we'll make a, we'll do a data validation on it. Are you guys familiar, are you guys pretty good Excel users? Yes, no? No one wants to admit it? Because we can actually do a data validation. Well, do you guys want to just copy and paste, or do you want to do like a drop down thing?
Can you clarify again what we're doing? I got your email with this other, with the groups document, but
Yeah. So
I
what
wasn't
we're going
following what. So are you back in the discovery workbook?
Yes, I was just going to show
Do
you.
you want us to work in our version of that we've already edited
Yes.
and sent to you?
Yes. So bring that up, and we're going to copy and paste some out of there.
Here's the attendance, please return this to me.
I could log into this computer, so I'm gonna have to run this.
So here's our discovery worksheet. So this is where I added. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I guess it's on the whole positions one.
So, let me just bring up the other one. Okay, so in the groups here, each of your departments should be there, and they're kind of broken out with the sub-departments as well there, or divisions, that you guys go. So if we use council, so council here, so what I need you to do is, these are the groups that are set up currently in the HR. So I want you to copy these over into the workbook.
Do you want us to also copy the position number?
The position, that we can leave that off for right now.
Okay.
And we just need this
Just
one,
those.
and then you're going to also, to the end of that group, you're going to add council.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be your, so the department name is going to be basically the group of items that, policies and procedures that cover everybody in that department. And then the other ones are going to be the specialty things for their specific job. Okay? So if we copy those over onto the worksheet.
What?
I
Some
can
of them
see
there are, because some of it's like procedural stuff for staff. But
on the org chart that you were doing,
Yeah.
these do not correlate with this because there are some issues with our,
With your,
yeah, like they're naming COP and set as one unit, but it's a separate unit. They're separate from each other.
So in.
Yeah, that's gonna be the same for all of us.
Yeah.
So HR doesn't line up with what we
No.
went through for the.
Not technically, because in some areas they have it divided down even further.
Okay, but for you guys, for this purpose, well, I'll tell you what, let's deal with those, when those issues come up, we'll just
Okay.
deal with them and walk through those
Okay.
if it doesn't line up properly.
Gotta go get that list.
Okay,
I can't see it.
so what I want you to do is just take those to, that listing and then paste it.
I think we already forged your signature.
And then just put it in there and add the department to the end.
So you can do it yourself.
Oh, it's okay.
I think I
Yeah,
said
we
it.
got it. I don't know if they've gotten it on the side.
If we're one of the areas that has
They-
multiple
I don't know if they have.
departments or divisions,
It's in the card.
do you want it at the end of each section, or I just put it to the side? Do you want me to split out and like make a space?
Oh, just put them
after
all at the
this?
end, or it doesn't really matter because it's just gonna make a drop-down list for you.
Okay.
So wherever you put them in the list, we'll just make them alphabetical, so they're
Okay.
easy to find.
Hey, Kari.
Yes.
Okay.
For those that don't have a laptop here, I made a copy of the email.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you see any duplicates like this one here, I must have missed one there. So just take that out.
Well, there's
No.
two different people with that. Well, I guess, is it,
Those are, each one of those lines is tied to a person.
so should there be like, there should be
Yeah.
5 council members and then a council vice chair?
But they would have the same group requirements for all of the management analyst policies, right? Policy, they wouldn't have
Maybe.
different,
They could. Like, for example, if you were doing that for a police officer, that would be, you have some police officers in different departments or divisions that would have different ones.
book would
They
have.
might have their own department number, so I guess that might not matter.
Yeah, because this is specific to council, right? So I guess under this, what I'm saying is for these two here, like would the requirements of this or the policy, procedures, certifications be different between these two?
I don't know. Ask. Wants to know if they
So-
have different.
For the two people that have that position, 2 or more, would the requirements be any different for those?
They might be at different levels, like,
So we do need that job
I guess
number?
what's the end goal of, what are we doing with this once we put it in this spreadsheet?
So what we need to do is we're going to have,
Because if they need to be distinct per person, there's already some that aren't there.
no, they don't need to be distinct per person.
That's conflicting with what
I mean, they could be.
they were, well, what were you, I guess I'm just confused because before you were talking about how each individual employee has
A position
a
number.
distinct identifier, yeah, position
Yeah,
number.
and so on this sheet that you sent out, I noticed that you combined the job code and the title, which is probably fine. You dropped the person's name, which may be helpful to some to figure out what position that you're actually looking at. Because they may have different and unique requirements associated with them.
In terms of policy and procedure then?
Or license, I mean, that's where you would get, like, you'd have a police officer. If Tracy up there was trying to assign a SWAT grouping to a police officer, under the list that you given them, they only have 1 police officer.
Yeah, and I think, but under those circumstance, we were gonna do the patrol was gonna be the main group, and then we were gonna have SWAT was gonna be an additional that she would manage herself, no?
Right, but she would assign it to a particular person who could be in any, you could be in patrol, it could be in CID. SWAT can come from anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I think she has, doesn't she have patrol CID and patrol?
Yeah, she does, or,
So I mean, I guess what my understanding is that, or what I'm thinking is, that all the people who are management analysts, 1130s, under this position, under council, would have the same requirements in terms
Right,
of
generally they would.
in here. So if we proceed with that, and then if there's exceptions to that, then we'll take a look at those as they come up.
See, and like I would assume, see how I have an engineer, an engineer here, an engineering series, but it's the same job code, I could eliminate one of those because it's basically gonna.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about the engineer series. I saw series in a bunch of those. I
It's a
didn't get chance
different
to talk to
title
you.
of how it's
Right, 'cause
entered
like
in. So it's
this-
essentially the same.
Right, like this could be
Okay.
an engineer 1 and engineer 2, so could I just leave engineer that identified like 1 through 4, or?
Do they have the same requirements?
No.
No, they have different ones, so if they have different requirements, that's what.
That's what's the
differentiates it.
differentiator, yeah,
Okay. But
exactly.
like the series, that like encompasses all of that, so I think where it's got the same job code.
Okay,
Get rid
you
of
would,
series.
yeah, I didn't delete
So-
those because I didn't know.
Yeah, so and that's what you and I and Tony were talking about as far as which job code you're going to use as a grouping, because right now the position status is what I gave you. And so we have several positions in Engineers 1 where they have a career series. And we say, all right, when they go out to recruit, you can hire anywhere in this career series as an engineer. We don't continually change the position to say whether or not the person in there is a 1, 2, or 3. We just put them at the entry level. And then when they're hired, they are actually assigned the right job code to indicate what level they're at.
So
And that's
should
the one you have to look at, not necessarily this one.
should I have then, so it seems like I used the wrong, I used the position number to make them unique, but I should have used the position description and the job code to make those distinct?
Yes, I think.
Because that would give you a distinct set of requirements.
The department will give them a distinct set of requirements.
Yep.
The job code will give them a distinct set of requirements, but the job code doesn't have to be limited to one job code. You could say this is what I think I was alluding to over there. Like for example, with police, you could say if job code police officer 1, police officer 2, police officer 3, then assign this set of requirements. So it could actually be a list of job codes, not just one single one.
Okay, so it would be management analyst and then a list of job codes that would have,
The management analyst
That's-
is
that's
identified
one
by
of the
a
job
job code. Like the job code is what makes it a management analyst.
I thought it was a position.
He's
Yes,
talking
they're
about, like,
both,
there
that's
might
both
be-
correct.
Yeah.
You assign a job code to a position. And then you assign a person to the position itself.
Okay, so, but in terms of, I guess we need to map that to what Kayenta is going to be sending over to me, right? So basically, what we said was they're going to give me the department so I can assign the general ones, which is council, right?
Right.
And then they're going to give me, so for them, the job code is, what did they call that?
So the department on this sheet that you've given us is what's going to come over from Kayenta.
Yes.
Then the second thing that you're going to get from Kayenta is the job code, which you've combined with the title, which is fine. But what my point is that this job code on this report doesn't necessarily match up with the job code you're going to get from Kayenta. These are very general classification, like for an engineer, what Janet's talking about. This just shows the basic level. You know, it's what number is that? 1,000 something, or whatever it is. When Kayenta brings it over, you will get the specific job code to that. That's why we need to get the list that Chris is working on into everyone's hands, because that shows the very specific job codes that are going to come across.
Okay, so
But the position number here is also coming across. That's what brings all that data. The department, the job code, all of that is assigned to a position number, and that's coming from Kayenta.
So I need to actually break these out then by job, into a job code as well. Is that what we're saying? To make them unique? I'll need to whittle it down.
There's lots of
Well,
ways that they're all unique.
That number is not the job code, correct?
That's the position number off of the
No, that's the
spreadsheet.
job code,
That's-
right there.
Well, there's three then that shouldn't, like, the community and
Mhm.
neighborhood coordinator shouldn't be the same as a management analyst then if it's a unique identifier.
It's a, no, what that is that's your business title. So you've taken an analyst and
Yeah.
called it that.
Okay.
So we have a general classification, a
Right.
management analyst.
Right.
In our office, that management analyst, we call it an HR analyst,
Right.
but it's still an analyst. And looks like in this situation, in order to help you identify what that position does, you've created that business title. But the identifier is the job code, the 1130. That's not position number.
Okay.
Position number is off to the right on this report. That's the one that says this is unique. That's the one when you go out to recruit, it's going to look at the minimum requirements and licenses and say this is what that's needed.
So those are all unique.
So if, what I think is the way to do it right now is to look at your departments first and say, what groupings or what policies does this particular, are applicable to everybody in this department? And find out what those are. The second one is to take your job codes or code and say which things are required specifically for this. I wouldn't be doing anything with the minimum, I think the licenses or the certificates, because those should all come in from Kayenta.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. No, I just want to deal with the other ones, but I'm just trying, so basically, we're going to have on the worksheet, we're going to have this listing of the training items, right? So I want to take all those training items, and then I want to assign which positions those are applicable to. So council will be the position name, group
The
name.
group name,
Yeah, and then which training will list all the training that is applicable to council. Then the specialty stuff that's council chair, we would then list council chair and then the special items that they have.
So do you
Outside
want
of it.
each training item to be in a,
Well, I want us to, so basically this is what we'll do. We'll just take this, we'll go, okay, council. Council has a, whatever, health and safety policy. And council also has a, whatever those policies are from the ones that are on this
so you
page.
repeat the group name as council and then just keep going down.
Yeah. So for each item that we've got on here,
would it be better just to put, instead of making another list that has all the training, probably with duplicates, would it be better just to have a column on here where we're putting
the positions,
the list?
the list
like
of positions.
Council chair, comma,
The
council
reason-
executive director, comma.
Yeah, the reason that's a little more difficult for me to manipulate when I'm trying to
Oh, right.
consolidate the data.
Okay.
That's the only reason I don't do it that way. So I know we could do it that way, but then for me to bust all those
Right.
separated lists out is difficult. So if you just want to put council once and then list, and then do the council executive office assistant. So what would be different about that than the general? Was there anything?
Well, so here's the thing with council, it's confusing because council members and council chair are all part of the department, but most of the department procedures don't apply to them because it's mostly what staff is doing on a support level
Right.
for the organization.
So what I would do in that situation is I'd have a group called council, maybe council department, just so
Right.
you know.
What's for everyone.
Yeah, and then I would have a second group, when I get to that level, I would say council members, or member-specific, or
Mhm.
something, whatever you want to name it, then I would list that, and then I would make a note that says, this group should be for anybody with job code 9090, 902, or 9092. And that way, it's limited only
To those
to the council, so that when you set it up, when you do that interface with Kayenta that you talked about with Tony, it's looking at, for those job codes, and saying, okay, 9090 and 9092 are here, they get assigned to this particular group. If that if statement isn't there, then they also get assigned the council group as well.
Right.
So that's how I would be setting it up, to try to identify. So
Yeah.
what you're missing from this report here, that we'll get into your hands here really quickly, is all of the specific job codes for your career series that are not necessarily reflected in there.
Which are the ones that were on that original list? Well, there's one for every, so these names are actually duplicated.
That's the list Chris has, and that's the one that will come in with all of the driver's license and professional engineer license and all of those other things. Licenses and certs, basically.
All right, so let's, which we don't need to worry about right now, but
Correct.
for the policies and procedures that we do have. So let's do this then. So let's take the general ones for the departments, and let's start copying the training items, the list from here, those names over into here, so that we can just list those out.
Yeah,
And
we're
then-
doing it right now.
The required you can leave empty for right now. That's basically, you can actually have these groups as just,
So this is helpful in just kind of giving you a list of all the positions in your department.
We're doing this now.
But I actually think it might be helpful to have like the names associated with it, so you can kind of, you know what they do, and that might help spur, oh yeah, this is specific to them.
well, we do have that on the original list, I think.
Yeah. I would send that out because I think you could probably drop the reports to aspect on the end, those last 3 columns.
Oh, yeah.
Because this also shows whether it's part-time, seasonal, and that may help spur kind of a, oh yeah, that's right, this is what they do.
So you're talking about this one right here, right? And these, so which ones don't we?
G.
don't we-
H, I, all of those you don't need. You probably don't need C, which is the max head count.
Yeah,
All of the others I would keep.
okay.
Well, that just took off the name.
Yeah.
What did it take?
We don't have a
Names.
name.
Oh, no, you should have the name. I don't know where that went.
That was G.
Oh, did I take that
I
out?
think that was
Yeah,
G.
he told me.
Is that one of them?
Yeah.
Oh, the
It's-
reports too.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm sorry, I got confused by the reports too. On G, there's a reports to,
Oh, that's
right
the
above
one.
name.
Yeah,
No, take those off.
so we don't want name.
No,
we want
take
the
those
reports
off.
too?
In column G, the second field down,
Yeah,
just says reports to.
yeah,
Delete that field, that cell, right there. Yeah, now get rid of H, I, J. That tells you what person is assigned to that position number.
oh, I see, that was the date for the report, is that what that was?
I don't know why I put in an
Put it
extra
there?
reports too.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, and the next,
Yeah.
all right.
I'll go send the other one to you right
For
now.
the
Chris says, yeah, Chris just let me know she's done, so.
Okay, great. All right, so.
So I just sent you.
So that. Trouble.
Right, so these are all the job codes. And so we have these numbers, so anyone in the special study numbers, there's a 105. So what I would do then, looking first at the department, and then going back, they're in this department and they have this job code, and this grouping gets assigned. So that you use this to supplement this. So if you look, see right here about the special series, it only has 1001. And in reality, it could be 1003 or 1005. Yeah, in fact, she's actually with you.
And that would go across these departments? There would be somebody in another department that's got
Sure.
1001
Or 1003
or 5?
or 5. In fact, right here, so here you have IS, and HR.
Mhm.
So IS may have something unique to it. So we'd be looking and say, all right, I'm going to create a council office staff, an office specialist group. And so we look and say, if they are in IS,
Mhm.
and if they are one of these 3 job codes, we can require them to have this. And same thing here, but this would be HR. So because, even though these two share the same job code,
Mhm.
we wouldn't assign it because it's a different department. And that's how we parse it.
Okay, so it's really, I'm just trying to figure out how to make it unique in our system so that, like, I guess, as a group in our system, HR 1001 would be a unique set of requirements. Would that be true? Does that make this unique? HR 1001?
No, because this person could be at any one of those levels.
Or 2 or 3, or sorry, 3 or 5.
So if you take a look at here, you have administrative services, finance accounting, finance purchasing, finance recorder, finance trader. So if I was making a grouping, and again, this may be just, you still have to figure out how you're going to get that information from Cayenta. But each one of these has a department name, but they're
Mhm.
all finance.
Mm-hmm.
So my group would be finance group. So I know, and I would set it up and say, if any of these department names are listed,
Mm-hmm.
like it could be a number, department ID. If any of these are listed, give them these general trainings. Maybe you could have another one that says, if finance recorder is a department, then we give them this list. Or you could go and say, so this is a position in the city recorder. There's only one job code for it. City recorder is a city recorder. So in that situation, you could assign specific, trainings to that job code. But when you get to these cursors, and they are everywhere in the city, they could be at multiple levels. So that's what you have to say. You could be specific as you want with 1001, or you could say if they're 1001, 1003, 1005 given this, maybe you just say if they're 1005 given this. So like a police officer, senior. If you go down to here, go down to the bottom, 42 something.
42 or 400?
41 something. Right here. So you'll notice this is job code 4206 for police officer. The only thing that requires post law enforcement. look at all 3 levels of that, all police officers, they all require post-law. But if you get to the senior, that requires advanced officer training. And so you couldn't just say, it's not applicable to all 3 levels, it's only applicable to this level. So you have to create a separate group just for that.
So police officer, so the 4206, 4207, well, no, they're not even the same in this one.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
No, but there's an additional,
This is, so in order to become your 3, that's what you have to get.
yeah.
And so in that situation, I would create a grouping as a senior officer group. You need to rewrite and then say if
Mhm.
the job code is 4207, given this unit.
Okay, so we need to represent that, for them to be able to sign those here. Because I mean, actually getting those across
And then,
and how we're gonna
these are
actually
things
do
that
that,
I-
we'll figure out later. But I need for these guys to know.
Spreadsheet yesterday, and I'm using this information to
You
do
can sort by
what he's
department, or you
talking
can
about
sort
right now.
by job code or list of job codes.
Send it to the-
Sort by department or list of department or sort by job code or list of job code.
Mhm.
Did you get that spreadsheet sent to you yesterday? Okay.
But as we talked about, there's no training for us to track,
No,
there's
there
no policies
isn't,
for us to track.
but I just
So
want to make sure
this
we
is-
have it in case.
Yeah.
You could forward it.
No, it's, you know what, it's just hard for me to map this to our side, right? It's because it's like, oil and water here. I mean, really ultimately, what I wanna do is just have the positions laid out so they can assign what training goes to each unique position in,
These are positions.
yeah, or group.
And these are, if I was to create a new senior officer, add a first position, a position control, and assign this job group. Assign, when we hire someone, we assign them to the particular position. But
You're still working on that,
you know, to slice up this data.
Mhm.
You sorted by just the job, you sorted by
Mhm.
departments. And they don't necessarily have to be, for example, with the recorder, this is the only position in finance that has to do with ground. And ground is our freedom of information. So
Okay.
the public wants to come in, request information, there's a certain certification that this position requires. But there may be other training that you want this individual to do, that's not necessarily a certification. The certification will come in with the position, you're always get that data.
Mhm.
So you can slice it a couple of ways. If she's the only person in the recorder's office, you can say, if you're in this department, she has to do this training. So what happens if she gets a couple of other staff in there? They don't have to do the training, but she does.
Mhm.
Then, you don't need to do that. We'll just
Kimber's
say,
pretty
okay,
much
if you're in this department and if this job code is this, then we have to train. I think that gives you a lot of flexibility to do it. If it can work well.
Well, yeah, to organize it. All right, let me just get this out to you guys. I'm just gonna send them that email that you just sent.
we're gonna get another one, we're gonna name it, cause that from us. It's adorable. Oh, yeah. Looks like the first one you see. There's my son has a newfie. I always get stuck these. Looks like it just got ground. It's big. It's actually a small size. It was 120. He's a love. He's a big teddy bear. He's only about 3 years
Okay.
They didn't really train him well, so he walked. And I Bruce.
So I guess in order to accomplish, how am I gonna do this in order to accomplish what I'm gonna accomplish this? I basically, I need to simplify it down, but I don't think they're gonna get that, right? The positions?
I would forward that email I just sent you up to them.
I did, yeah, I
Okay,
just forwarded
that'd be
that.
helpful.
Yeah,
And so I would start by focusing only on
department.
Department.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, yeah. And then bring the training in here.
and then work in groupings by job code or list of job codes.
All right, so if we were to add in here then, so would we do the position and then have another column for the job codes that it's applicable to?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think so.
Get rid of this. And then they can just come separate those in.
And maybe even the list of departments that it's applicable to as well. Because you could, in theory, knowing how they're separated out, things Kari's in the shape a bunch of different recreation ones.
Yeah,
They may have, I may want this department, this department, this department, this department to see it. And I don't want, the rec side or the
Mhm.
park side to see that. And so I think it's a sorting by department or list of department, and then sorting by job code or a list of job codes.
so we'd have to add department in here as well in order to make that,
Possibly, yeah.
yeah. If that's
Well,
applicable,
Right
right?
here, yeah, I would just put it off the side.
Yeah.
I think that would get you the majority of the.
Yeah, no, well, it does give me everything I need. It's just then, it's the organization of it afterwards, right, to make
Right.
sure that it fits. But that's fine, as long as I got the data.
Yeah.
So we can do that, okay. All
But I'd start with departments only. I think that makes it easier.
right. Yeah, yeah, for the main ones, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, guys, so we sent out that other listing there that has it's got the job codes on there and the actual people, that one. So what we'll do then is for the, group names here, we'll start off with just the department ones, and then list all the training that's applicable. And then we can add in which job codes from that listing in departments, if there's multiple departments, that it's applicable to. So we'll just do the first one, which will be your actual sort of the general departmental stuff, and then we'll move on to the specialized ones after.
Is this training like in the certifications or just general training?
Well, this will actually be the policies, procedures, and stuff right now. The certification stuff we'll take care of through HR.
So if you're talking about your engineers, like you would need to indicate what license they require. So like a PE license for an engineer 3 or an engineer 4, that should come over with Kayenta and automatically be assigned to that position. What this is looking for is to say, all right, I've got my various departments / divisions / sections. I would be sorting those by saying, all right, what is it that is applicable to every single person in the Department of Public Works? Then I would be looking at what's applicable to just engineers as far as policies, procedures. That's correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know like specific policies we have for each department. I mean, most of them are just like the general HR policies.
And if that's the case, then they will be covered by
By what
By
you
the
guys-
by
By
the
the city.
overall city one, because
Yeah.
all of them will be assigned. Every single person that comes over will be assigned. I mean, we'll have to create a general
Yeah.
citywide group,
Right.
and every person who comes over has to do this. But if there are things beyond that, that's what you're identifying today to say, all right, this is unique to our engineering group. So what are those if they are? I know Parks and Rec has a bunch of them. Once you sort by group and by department, then I think you move to sorting by job codes and list of job codes. This is where, specific to, and maybe it doesn't have to be like, but you may have other people in aquatics. If everybody is in aquatics as a lifeguard, then you don't necessarily have to sort by job code, but maybe they are. And so you go and say, all right, the following job codes have specific training that we need to do. But I would start with sorting by the department functions and say, all right, everybody in this department or list of departments needs to do it. So Kari, for your example, you may have policies, and I know you're not divided anymore, but you may have policies that are specific to various departments that those who are doing the parks part don't need to see, but everyone else does. So I would say, what are all the departments that need to see that and sort by that, and then kind of splice your data that way.
What is the distinction between columns A and D? I didn't follow the differences between those. Is it just the same? Because you described that as the department, but then there's another column.
I would call that your group name.
Yeah,
Group name.
sorry, our group name.
Okay.
So there's gonna be a general one for the whole department,
Right.
right?
So then on that example, are you putting anything under column D? Are you saying council again?
No, there wouldn't be not for council
Council
because
doesn't have
that's the
anything
general one.
Yeah, I would add list to the back of that.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so you call it the group name of council, but in that one-to-one relationship, that's just going to be the council department.
Right.
So Kari, when she goes in, that may be, her group name may be recreations, and then she would go in and indicate the following department names have to, if they're in these departments, they got to do this stuff.
And I'm using the department names that are on the job code list.
On this position status, that's how we've broken them down in HR. You can,
Because then
It's
those
different.
necessarily don't match up with the names that we came up with
The
This
org,
morning.
this morning,
the
the
org
org
chart.
chart. Like, those don't match.
They don't match.
right, well, we can
What
make
do
a
you want?
match. This is how we organize them on PeopleSoft to say, all right, in this particular
Yeah,
group. Some of them are, this is actually going to be more detailed than
correct.
the ones in there. So I would put it at whatever level of specificity you would want it to be at.
yeah, we can adjust those, we'll have to adjust those after, I think, just to make them.
Would it make any, is it going to make a difference? Is it easier to use your coding or the org chart coding?
This one is probably more accurate,
Okay.
and I would probably just adjust the one we did this morning.
Okay.
But I think it doesn't have to be on the one for one when you're grouping these. You know, you can have these 3 departments are assigned to this grouping, and you know, you can. I think that gives you the flexibility that you need to kind of structure it. For council and legal, you know, you're going to have one group, possibly, but you may have certain things that you want your attorneys to do that your clerical, your paralegal, and your legal assistants don't necessarily have to do. I don't know what that is, but
Are you just talking about licensing or?
not licensing.
That's what's confusing to me.
No, the licensing, don't worry about the driver's license or the certificate or anything like that. That should be coming over with the position itself. Anything that is mandated by the job description, that should already be coming over in there. These are
Okay.
your policies. These
Internal.
are
Procedures.
Your own department.
We just
Yeah.
have.
anything
Department
other than
specific.
anything beyond that. If you have other certificates that you desire or prefer, then I guess you could include those.
We all just follow the HR policies, we don't have any others.
And you're in luck.
So that's covered.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of cover all that too, and
Yeah,
Well, a lot of the bigger departments have their
Yeah.
own internal policies.
I see.
In
So,
addition to
in addition to
the
those.
ones that
In
are already
addition
there.
to that.
So the question
We
is, this
do.
is how you're going to account for that, to track it, to say, all right, have you read that energy-specific policy or that engineering-specific policy? And when I say that, it doesn't sound like it exists, but it certainly could.
right, yeah, as far as I know, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So you got that, you're covered by just the general policies of,
I would suspect,
The
though, in public works,
I would
particularly.
suspect so too, but when I was with the general email, I didn't get any policies specific because I wasn't asked to get that, and so
Right.
I didn't know that was part of what.
I didn't send out the
Over.
email. But what this could cover as well, though, is not just policies, but you could be looking at what type of training you require of a water worker.
But doesn't that go under certification?
No, we'll cover the certification where it says they have to be wastewater too, but you may have certain, you know, modules or things that you want them to cover, you know, as, you know, safety, you know, whatever their safety, you may have specific safety training for a pipe that, you know,
Right, which is more like
your
what.
confined space training.
Right, and that's kind of more like what Cody,
Cody
he has
should-
that information on those
Right.
policies, and I would think more of ours would be like safety policies and things like that he would address.
Well, it could be policies or actual trainings that you have to
Right.
do every, you know, 1 year, 2 year, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Like in police, when we're gonna bring police's information over, the only thing that's coming over with the position number is they must be law enforcement officer certified. Or if it's a senior officer, they have to be advanced officer certified. But you have a whole bunch of trainings, like you have to recertify in your marksmanship, your OC spray, your taser, whatever the case may be. Those are the things that you're gonna be identifying by these groups. Now, if everybody in that particular group is required, if everyone in the police is required to have OC certification, then you can put it in that big group. But that's not really the case. You know, you're probably gonna have to break it down to say, this is our, you know, sworn officer group.
Yeah.
And then you identify all of the things that are specific to that sworn officers, and in your list, you would say, the following job codes are sworn officers. And then you put in the job code for the police officer 1, 2, 3, sergeant, lieutenant, captain. That's how I would sort that one. Does that make sense to you?
So position name is groups.
That's a
Groups.
misnomer.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
That's
was
the only
made
one.
before we,
Yeah, I would change it, but I don't want to go on.
well, you guys have the sheets, just change it on your sheet so it's not.
But I would just call it a group name.
Okay.
And whatever you call it as a group name is what it will be called. So you're essentially, you're wanting to sort your trainings and your policies And the tools that you have to do that are department and job codes. And if you use those two, you should be able to cover most of them.
Can I get a clarification back on the training page, where we're putting in the trainings? If we have something, I kind of heard somebody ask yesterday, bring up manuals. So let's say, like our lifeguard manual is a 30-page manual. We're not going to upload it to here. What we would probably do is just have them sign off that they reviewed the manual. So do I add something that's just manual review, or what do you recommend in a situation like that?
You could have you could upload the manual if you want. Do you have an electronic copy?
Mhm.
Yeah, so you could upload it, and they could do it online.
Okay.
Or you could do some sort of internal sign-off where they get a, if they want to certify that they've done it, they can sign off and upload that as the proof rather than you putting the entire document in.
Okay, so if we have things that we just want them to upload that they did it, would I put it in like a certificate, or?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
Well, isn't there
because
there's a code for?
there's document review, competency
Yeah.
check, certificate, or online
It sounds
test
more
are the
like a
four.
document review.
Well,
But
yeah, it
document
is a
review means the
document review,
document
but
has
if
to
you're
be
not
on
uploading
there.
the document, then
Oh.
you can't
Well,
do
then
it that way, right? You've got
What is
either.
competency check? Is that
competency-
you assessing them?
That's right, like supervisor, making sure somebody is doing the correct practice.
I'll change that.
So would there be a problem with uploading that manual? Like, would you not want to put it up on
I
the?
don't think so. I
I
mean, I
would-
guess it's there then just for them to reference as electronic.
Exactly, so then they
Mhm.
can actually get it anywhere,
Mhm.
right? Anywhere they have an internet connection, they can get to the manual if they ever
Okay.
need it. So I would just upload that and do it as a doc review.
Okay. I also had a question on this page. Let's say we have something that is a one-time and it doesn't, the schedule review, is that something that we can leave blank if we don't need to review it again?
Yeah.
Or do we need to put something there?
No, you don't need to put, so this is the scheduled review is the review for the document owner.
administrator,
Yeah, for the
yeah.
administrator. So you don't have to fill that in
Okay.
if reviews are not required for this
Okay.
material.
So if it's only something you want to watch once, that's when you put it to like 99 years.
99 years, and then leave the other two blank, because we don't
Yeah.
need a notification.
One time
Okay.
thing, you just put 99 years in there.
Okay.
Or you can leave them 99 or blank, or leave it blank, and then I'll understand either of those means there's no
Okay.
renewal on those.
Do you have anything in there that would indicate when that particular document that you upload might expire? So a lot of the times when you're dealing with something like that, like first aid, they update the manuals.
Yes, so there is an expiry date, it's not represented on here. So we're assuming that so basically, we assume that the documents don't have an expiry date when we initially upload them, and then there'll be a process of going in and uploading.
Because it's not going to be a
Setting.
set, like,
Right.
if we change policies, obviously they'll have to go and change it. But I don't want it to necessarily say they have to review it every year, when I know it's probably 7 years before they'll make a change.
But I'm talking about when the document actually expires. So for example, when you look at some of, let's say, they update the procedures for CPR or something like that. So your book is now out of date and there's a new issue that's come out. Somebody would have to go in and put the new issue in.
Yeah, you would make that a review date. So there's two additional fields that are not represented here. One is scheduled review date.
And if the
So at the
document
real
only has
cost-
to be signed once though, and you upload a new one, it pushes it out to everybody and everybody
That
has
has
to
to be
re-review
the
does.
next,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not
revision
part of
causes
this
that.
form, that's just the
No,
document
we're just
upload.
getting the initial ones in, right? So when you start going through the review process and then expiring them and redistributing them, that will take over that. Yeah. So we're just trying to catalog everything here and get an initial system state.
When I was thinking about our training, and I don't know if anyone else has the same, we'll have the same question. when I was thinking about what we're putting in this system, I was looking more at certifications and not just training day in addition to what it
That's what I
requires.
was just thinking.
Do we, is that even, I mean, I wouldn't think that's even possible in here because, I mean, with our officers, they have a wide degree of choice in that.
Mhm.
Like, they have a 40-year requirement, or 40-hour requirement per year. And in that 40 hours, it can be anything they want. There are also the things that they have to do,
Mhm.
but then there's another chunk of time that they could use, you know, on any type of training that they need.
Gotcha.
And many of them go beyond 40 hours. Like, we don't limit them to 40 hours of training. We want them to be as well trained as they can be.
Yeah,
And so I don't see, I just don't, I'm not thinking that that type of training is going in here. It's only the stuff we have to monitor
That's
and
correct.
maintain.
So the way I would track those additional items, so if they're, if that's done kind of offline and they sign up for stuff and whatever, and they're taking those and accumulating those hours, they have a mandated number of hours per year or something that they need to get for those. So you can, what I would do is just set up a general,
It's LEO certification.
LEO
for them. If
certification.
they don't get 40, they will lose that certification.
yeah. So the thing that we don't do in here is allow, like, it's all based on the required things for your position,
Okay.
right? And these are outside of that, so it doesn't map exactly to that. I'm
So this
thinking-
is not a robust portfolio of everything they do, but just what they have to do to maintain their position.
Exactly. So you can upload those things, and it can go into their training record, but it's not going to send out notifications and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think though there's a way we could probably map that into the licensing. And
That's what
as
I
they
was-
accumulate the hours, they can just say, oh, I completed this again. And it
Okay.
just goes against those hours.
The CEUs.
Yeah,
Okay.
the CUs, exactly.
So this only is certifications. The other stuff
Well,
they do on
yeah,
the
and the
side.
policies and procedures,
Yeah.
but for the training courses that they take that are outside of that, it's not, unless they're, you know, specifically required for the job.
What I've added into the spreadsheet is our certifications. I have not put our policies in there just as yet.
Okay.
I mean, I'm waiting for dispatch. We have a lot. We have-
Yeah, no, and this is gonna be a overtime process, right? Basically, what I wanna do here is just get through a few, so that everybody kinda understands how we can make this work. And then I can grab those as well, and then we can start our process of making sure that it all kinda matches up, how we're gonna interface that with Kayenta to make sure we're getting all the info in there.
Could you go back to the positions tab so that I could see what those descriptors at the top of the columns were? I think you had changed or added.
Group name, training items,
Okay.
list, departments.
And departments is, I'm
That's-
still confused.
That's right out of the HR,
Like division or whatever you want to
Oh,
make it.
okay.
because you could have the same combination in different departments. Sure.
Or plants, or line clear, line clear. This is scoop.
Transfer your policies over to that one as well. Yes. So even though they're in the training, they're really gonna move them over.
Well, but this is where everything on this list.
I just had to do that.
This is the actual, what it is, and then
The next one is who has to do it. Who has to do it? Okay.
Send what you have to Chris. She's putting together not this. Or training, I've already switched you. The list that you gave me on the training, we're gonna send those to Chris, she's gonna put it in the workbook for citywide. Yesterday. It should have it from your site.
9 York.
She's handling those, and so she put in those trainings. She'll incorporate this. Smile. No, that's good. Okay, yeah, send me that. Thank you, that's good.
It's just me.
So there should be a list of citywide training, those essentials that we'll put into a citywide grouping. And so all the positions will come up will be assigned citywide, so that we can review all the policies and requirements to do the training. So, which dates, which is digital.
Only 2014.
We did it in the last 2 days.
I know, but I can't get this through. That came over next You're putting in just the number.
Focus.
What's over here? The number that's
Not
this,
this number.
not this number. So he's saying he resent it to us. Is this not the good resend one?
That'll come through with the, because it's, so that second list that he sent you, that's basically
That's
stuff
the list
you don't have to
do
worry
it
about
first.
because that should be coming in from the position where, you know, where you may have a differences. I don't know what kind of internal training is required.
So they're not such a job training they want us to use.
Correct.
Not bad.
Right, and so that's all you really have to worry about, unless you had some specific things that would need to those, probably covered by just the general city policy. Which makes sense because you're a small department.
So is there anything I need to provide him at this point?
Unless you can think of
Or it's
specific.
sparking my brain that we don't, any of the other positions don't have any licensing. I mean, some of us have notaries, but it's not required.
Right, and that's noted on the job description, so
Okay.
I don't know how you're going to handle preferred or, you know, stuff like that. If it's specific to a position, you may indicate that this one requires it. It's
It
just a
doesn't
preference.
require, it's just nice to have, it works for the function of our office to have somebody who can organize. So, okay, then that's, I guess there's really nothing we can do.
Just
I guess I'm lucky.
say, yeah,
I just want to make sure we're doing it right.
a donut card. No.
Hey,
I feel sorry for the big departments.
Denise would like everyone to know she doesn't have to do anything.
The hard thing is you have to rely on feedback from like managers and you're gonna get that then.
I imagine you've got quite a bit of list, but maybe the code you got.
I think Cody's got a lot of the policies on the safety stuff. I think that's where a lot of it falls under.
Probably.
And I would assume that that's where the biggest component is.
Probably accurate. Yeah, I know.
I'll go with these things today.
Jason, can you send the workbook to Chris Cooper?
Chris Cooper,
Yeah.
the most recent one?
Whatever the one we're supposed to be working on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me, that's this one here, you mean? Just clean it up.
items, council just says council, so. Public Works, I guess, would have a bunch. Yeah, so that'll have like all of those split out. And then, so what I did was that, in the first column, that's where I'm putting that, if I have different ones, but I split it out, I added, we have, like I did a staff group, and then this, for my position, I don't think, with graduate interns, it's anything we need to know, it's just what everyone needs to know. I'm saying with council members as far as like policies.
So you guys have policy?
I think he's wanting anything.
We, it's like Word documents, basically, they're, some of them are just like confused. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that like we do that no one else does, or that's really. This is what we have, we just have all these Word documents, which have like different stuff, so like we have. And so some of it like references like the state code or the city code.
Right.
But it has kind of everything on it, like some like specific information and examples and stuff. So. No, I mean like there's the citywide policy. This is kind of just like logistical instructions, so more specific to like how to use, like how to fill out the travel app. I don't know. This is a lot of this is stuff that Louise wrote up before she retired, but this is like a document that I made that I give to the traveler because the council members like they don't travel very much, but every time they do, it's like re-educating everyone again on like how what they're supposed to do and get back to us because it's very confusing. So, yeah, a lot of these are just like our information. More like procedural stuff than anything.
Right.
I mean, we need to move that's a lot more condensed. Knowledge of the receipt.
I don't know. Actually, Jason,
Yes.
what are you planning for this afternoon, as some may need to run back and coordinate getting some of this information? What are your, they don't want to miss out, but.
Sure. No, so if we can continue on this, the other thing is that over the next 2 days, we're a little ahead of schedule anyway, so over the next couple of days, we're looking at doing, setting up we want to go over the initial fire plan, which is very short, and then we're going to just review, the big thing I wanted to do is review reporting needs for each department. And basically, if we can see, if you've got stuff that you're using right now, that you're relying on, reporting ones.
Like for certification and things like that? or-
Yeah, that would relate to, keeping training on track and viewing training history reports, that kind of stuff. Anything that we're doing related to certifications, licensing, and training. Then bring those, and I'll take samples of what everybody's got, and then I'm going to compare that against what we have and identify any gaps that we need to develop for the implementation. So I just wanted to go over some of those. So basically, you guys bring those, and then we'll do a process where we go through it, and if there's things I don't understand or clarifications, they'll just get all that. So that's what I was hoping to accomplish over the next 2 days.
So maybe if you could send the email out so those that aren't here and that come in tomorrow, they can bring
Yeah.
that stuff with them.
Yeah, I was going to say that for the end of today, if we can bring that tomorrow. Yeah, so that's really, once we've got this kind of set up and going.
Like, I don't have any policy information that the safety guy that's allowed to have anything like on the safety stuff, but I don't have anything from anybody else, so is that
Mhm.
would be something I need to stay for and work on, or, 'cause I don't have the information?
No, if it's not going to be productive for you to be here, then yeah.
Okay,
that's
I was
fine.
just curious. I don't want to miss any.
No, I think, well, the idea here is, nobody's going to actually completely, well, maybe counsel it. But for the others have got like a lot more volume, so I don't expect everybody to be able to complete this today. What I do want is for us to just have a system in place and the templates kind of worked out so we can accumulate the data, and then it's going to be a process to continue that. I would like you to send though, for today, when we're done, whatever you do have done to me, so that I can take that and we can start working that to make sure that the interface is going to support all those things and map those. So other than that, yeah, so really reporting is the next thing that we're going to do. So if you just got a big spreadsheet, bring that and we'll go through that, or if you just got,
Everybody keeps track of their own.
everybody keeps track of their
Each
own.
section managers keeps track
Oh,
of their
okay.
own.
Oh, so they're
It's
all
not
doing
like
it,
one
could be doing it
main- yeah.
differently?
It's not like one main.
Okay. Could you get samples of what those folks are
But
doing?
it's just a handwritten.
It's,
But I'll just, I mean, that's kind of
Well,
what
no,
our certifications, they keep track of their own.
so there's the what you're doing now, and then there's what you would like to be doing
Right.
moving forward. So
Right.
both of those considerations are what we're going to look at tomorrow.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
Unless it's something required.
So I just sent my worksheet with the job code and groups for departments. So you guys should see
Sounds like if you can,
My thing was sort of.
Was it Chris Cooper that Daniel asked for? Chris C? Is it
C. Cooper.
C. Cooper.
C. Cooper?
So I,
Or I could just forward it to you.
Well, you guys do those differently,
Just
eh?
somebody
So
send
some are
Yeah. Some people are special.
first, last, and
Yeah,
please.
so.
If you've been here longer,
Oh.
it's the other way around.
like, in my mind, it makes sense that I'm either gonna have some specific.
There we
job
go.
code
Sorry, Chris, you
or
didn't
I'm
get
just gonna
that.
list a
Should
whole
come through any
division
second.
area. But is that correct? That it's one or the other, or should I be having both?
I don't know, I'm putting all. If this goes to all the employees.
Yeah.
And all departments, I'm doing both. Like, so in other words, the job code is like specific this way, which I don't know, I think it's kind of
So and I
repetitive.
think all makes sense. I'm wondering what those pictures are.
Yeah, because I know these aren't gonna be everybody, but they are. So I'm just kind of individualized them. But then what I might do is I might do this. So like in this case, this is engineering. So I'm gonna put, oops, spell it right. So I might put engineering as a department, but then specific jobs in that department, I'm gonna give it to them, because not everybody needs that. But I think a lot of them do need to read it, so I don't know, that's what I said, I think he's hoping to just put it in and kind of see, like, we get all of them.
Matt, could you move her name?
Yeah.
Close. Somebody almost called you Denise. I was young.
Sit there and
Where did Daniel go?
probably going
I need
Question.
I need you.
to. Do we need to record any more of this afternoon?
No, I don't think so. We're just
Please no.
basically everybody's heads down.
I feel like
We
when
do
I'm
have a
doing
good
this,
shot
we're
here,
done
back
there,
here,
everybody's
like,
already been done.
Now we can.